What it is, YouTube? It's your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. I wanted to show y'all a dope plugin that I love using to get them pro vocals. It's called Wavesfactory Spectre. So let's get to it right now. If y'all like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check the description down below to support the channel. So let's listen to this song that we working with, and let's go over this dope plugin.
I've been shopping in Milan, grande, spinning big racks because I can. MX black card in my hand. They swiped it, run it, do ran. I can't pronounce the shit worth a damn. Strip handcraft Italian. Your mouth just shopping in Milan. Bitch got her pieces, designer thesis, income increases. We baby Jesus, supercar keyless, seat off the meters. 100 racks on clothes, they say it's needed.
Okay, so you guys get an idea of the song we're here with today. So a really dope plugin, Spectre. It's a multi-band saturator pretty much. I just want to show a couple ways I like to use it on vocals today. Okay, so when I think about multi-band saturators, a couple of alternatives is like Fab Filter Saturn, IZOTOPE. Inside OZONE, you have the exciter and stuff like that. But what I like about Spectre a little bit more, bruh, is the fact that Spectre is very precise. You feel me? Very precise, very like you can just precisely saturate what you want. So you can just put a little dash of a seasoning right here. You can put a little parsley right here, a little bit of thyme right here, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of garlic right here. You feel me? You could just put the flavors a little bit by little bit by little bit. You feel me? Like a great chef does. Every great chef, if you probably went into their kitchen, they have a freaking cabinet full of all type of seasonings. And that's what you want to be as an engineer. You want to be a great chef cooking up these tracks, my nigga. You feel me? Cooking up these vocal mixes, right? So you need seasonings, you need things that can give flavor. All right, so first thing that I wanted to show you guys is the different modes inside of Spectre, which is solid, warm, tube, tape, and also clean. Those are going to be the ones that I go over today because those are the ones I use for vocals exclusively, right? And that's what we're talking about. So let's look a little bit when we got to think about something like the lead vocal. It's all about warmth for me personally on this track. Some tracks I want the vocal to be aggressive, but other times, most of the time, I want it to be warm, because usually when your vocal is warm, warmth is kind of associated with proximity. Usually when you feel actual warmth in real life is usually when you hugging somebody, you feel me? Or somebody's coming close to you, shaking their hand or whatever. You had a family reunion, you gotta take a picture. Hey, everybody's together, shit. You feel me? That's when you feel warmth, you feel me? So that's the thing about it. When I want my vocals to be up front, I kind of go for a warm approach, because usually if I can get the vocals to not be harsh and smooth, I can turn them up pretty loud. You feel me? And get them to be up close and everything like that, and forward and full and not annoying. So I use something like Spectre on the lead vocal, and I usually like to use something like warm mode. The dope thing about Spectre though is the fact that when you start to saturate like 1, 2K, all that stuff, it can kind of get awkward a little bit on a vocal. It can start to sound like phasey and harsh. So I like to saturate a little bit upwards. So I get the brightness, but not that harsh, brittle brightness.
I've been shopping in Milan, grande, spinning big racks because I can. MX black card in my hand. They swiped it, run it, do ran. I can't pronounce the shit worth a damn. Strip handcraft Italian. Your mouth just shopping in Milan. Bitch got her pieces, designer thesis, income increases. We baby Jesus, supercar keyless, seat off the meters. 100 racks on clothes, they say it's needless. Find a designer, catch me in my lineup. Handcraft Italian.
So you hear also the human ear, usually when you start pushing a little bit of that mid-range, it makes the vocal sound more forward. So sometimes rather than for me to actually make the vocal louder, what I'll do is I'll just use the actual Spectre and boost up in the higher Ks, so you can hear more of the nuances. You can hear more of those things that trick the human ear to believe the vocal is more forward than what it really is, my nigga. So when it comes to something like, the signal chain back in the day, you got to think about it, bro. The signal chain also plays into why the vocals back in the day sound a certain way they are. I know a lot of people who watch my channel kind of low-key don't care about how stuff like back in the day sounds, because it's like a younger hip-hop crowd. We just want it to sound like Yeet and Ken Carson, all that stuff like that. But still, there's certain people who want it to sound like back in the day, you feel me? Or just warm, you feel me? Or just like a nice sense of humanity. So that's why I see saturation as like an emotional trigger, biological trigger, like warmth, being up close to you, not harsh, smooth, people hugging you type shit. So the microphones back in the day was giving saturation, giving a little bit of seasoning, you feel me, throughout the process of cooking the turkey, you feel me, basting it a little bit, you feel me. So the microphone, like a U47, has a tube in it, a M49, that microphone goes for like $20,000. That microphone has a tube in it. A U87, it does not have a tube in it, but it is a great microphone that has great articulation. AKG a microphone, C12, great. Telefunken 251, another wonderful microphone that provided warmth. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll be like, man, I want my vocals to have a certain tone to them, so let's pick that microphone specifically. Let's put those type of shoes, let's put those Jordans on with that jacket and that shirt, because it's gonna impart a certain style to it, you feel me. It's gonna go well together, it's gonna go cohesively well with maybe the lyrics. People would do that, bruh. Sometimes they go in the studio and they sing a part and they're like, you know what's gonna sound good on you? That microphone. That for this song. You feel me? Because that's just the way it works. And then after that, you have something like an Avalon 737, which has dual triode tubes inside of it, right? So that's how it gets that fat sound, because it has triode tubes. Maybe you can't afford this this preamp because it costs a few $1,000s. Maybe you could use a plugin like Spectre to still get that same tone using the warm mode. Okay. After that, you have something like the Culture Vulture. It's funny. I remember Meek Mill called Drake a Culture Vulture a couple years, like way back in the day. And I'm like, man, maybe Meek Mill saw one of these things in the studio and that's why he decided to call him that. I'm pretty sure that's probably what, because those two words, culture vulture, and that's funny. But look, most important thing about the culture vulture is it was a joke back in the day. People used to laugh at the culture vulture. It was a laughing stock. They like, bruh, we got the microphone giving us the seasoning, we got the preamp giving us sauce, we got the tape machine, we got the console giving us all this harmonic saturation and this density. We don't need no extra flavor. Now you over seasoning the chicken, bro. What you doing, bro? Right? So the culture vulture was always considered kind of like a joke, you feel me, like an effect type of thing. But nowadays people are seeing it's necessary. So the dope thing about the culture vulture, you have the pento tube and the triode tube, bruh. And I can't stress how important this is, because a lot of people, they be wanting that Sony C800 sound, but maybe you can get it by using a plugin that does have a little bit of a pento type of tube in it. You feel me? That's what it has in it. The pento tube contributes to the sound of the Sony C800. That's how you get that breathy, asthma type of inhaler type of top end that you get from a Sony C800. And of course, we got to give a shout out to Black Box HD2, because it kind of is like the new school, little sibling of the culture vulture. And Decapitator is also related to it as well. So another dope way I love to use Spectre is I like to use it on my 2-track beat. Towards the end of my mix, when I start limiting it, getting it to my loudness, I might lose a little bit of that 808. I might lose a little bit of that bass. So what I'll do is I'll hunt for that upper harmonic in that 808 and I'll boost it just a little bit with the solid mode. So the solid mode, that's giving a little bit of love, like a SSL console would when you clip it, you feel me? It's giving that type of transistor type of saturation. So that's important to understand the components, because bruh, you go on a fucking mag EQ, right? If you take a mag EQ and you do like 5K, a boost of 5 dB, right? And you put that next to a SSL, you put the 5K, you copy the EQ, it's not gonna sound the same, because the mag EQ has certain type of components in it, and the SSL has a certain type of components that change the tone of the top end. So I like to use this to give me some of my the baby frequency when I start to lose it,
I've been spinning big racks because I can. MX Black.
Sometimes you might also run into a situation where maybe the bass ain't hitting hard enough, you feel me? On your 2-track beat or whatever, for whatever reason, the bass isn't hitting hard enough. So rather than boosting a bunch of bottom end on my master fader, I'd much rather just go to the 2-track beat directly and boost just like 1 dB. I find that the baby frequency, which is that upper top end on the bass, and I boost that. You feel me? Just put the flashlight over there and it's like, oh wow, now I really hear that 808. And also that would make the a bass translate to a smaller device. But it's usually always better if you just have the multi-track, bruh. Just always try to get the multi-track. You feel me? Just get the damn multi-track, bruh. So after that, I just wanted to show another way that I like to use Spectre, because like in my room, sometimes I might have like a resonance inside of the mid range, specifically in my room where I record at. And sometimes I find myself dipping down like somewhere around like 900 or whatever type of mid-range frequency. And I ain't gonna lie, that shit always sounds terrible, bruh. It always sounds weird because the human ear isn't used to hearing an incomplete mid-range. Like no person has a dip of at 900 hertz on their voice. It just sounds so unnatural. So a gem that I like to use a lot, bruh, is I like to use Spectre, right? And I'll boost, literally, I'll go to the vocal and I'll boost 900 or wherever mid-range type of frequency, right? To push that mid-range out, right? And then I'll cut it after the fact, right? So I can still hear that maybe like that mid-range resonance is not as overbearing, but the vocal still feels full and the articulation doesn't feel incomplete. It doesn't feel like Swiss cheese. You don't want the vocal to feel like Swiss cheese because that character being lost is kind of like it makes it feel like a robot. It makes it feel like an AI. It makes the vocal feel cold because that tone kind of is what gives you that psychological trigger. That certain way when people talk a certain way is inside that mid range. You feel me? When that mid range gets a little bit aggressive, you're like, damn, you're having a bad day today. You can tell from the mid range of their voice. So the mid range is where the communication of a vocal is at. And I want to give one more shout out to the tape part of Spectre. When I think about, back in the days, another thing that was contributing is the preamp, the Ampex 351. All tape machines have tubes inside of them. Not all of them, some of them do. I would say most of the good sounding ones, like the A800, the J37, they have tubes inside of them, tubes, transformers, right? So all of those have a certain way of adding a little bit of love to, the music from back in the days as well. But when I use Spectre though, bruh, how I see Spectre is when I use the tube mode, not the tube mode, when I use the tape mode, I use it like a de-esser, bruh, because it adds this weird mid-range honk to it. But I actually like to use it as a de-esser. So that's a different way I use it. And then of course, if I want to get me a Sony C800 sound, I'm gonna go with like tube. You feel me? The warm is a triode tube. But the regular tube, that's a pento tube. You feel me? So those understand like how I said, oh, the 737 fatten things up. Oh, Sony C100 got that crazy. You feel me? Upper top end. That's how I like to go about using this plugin. So that's pretty much the end of the video that I got here today. I hope you guys were able to learn some tricks. I showed you with the 2-track beat, showed you with the vocal and everything like that. So I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Appreciate y'all now, YouTube gang. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check down below to support the channel. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.